Hi, hello. I hope someone is watching. I haven't gone on too early or anything. My name is Anne Walsh Donnelly, and I'm coming to you live from my kitchen here in Castlebar in County Mayo, which is in the west of Ireland. Thanks to Sandy and to Elizabeth. I know people are coming on now. I thought I was talking to myself there for a minute. Phew, great. That's a relief. So I'm going to start again. My name is Anne Walsh Donnelly. I'm coming to you live from my kitchen here in Castlebar in County Mayo, which is in the west of Ireland. Thank you so much to Sandy and to Elizabeth Ann for having me on this wonderful platform, the Cultivating Voices open mic. It's brilliant, and I've been enjoying the readers and listening to Andy there. It's very, very good. So tonight I am going to read some newish poems and then some poems from my chapbook, which is called A Woman with an Owl Tattoo, which was published last year by Fly on the Wall Press. And it's basically, the chapbook is about the growth, my growth since the ending of my marriage, which ended 10 years ago, to exploring my sexuality and then coming out as being gay in my 50s. So that's the theme of the chapbook. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Hamster. And this was inspired by a visit to my doctor a couple of years back when I was feeling really, really low. And he said to me, so yeah, do you feel like a hamster on a treadmill? And I said, well, actually, no, I don't. I said, I'm worse than that because the feckin' treadmill has broken. So here it is, Hamster. Even a shot of WD-40 didn't stop her treadmill creaking. The noise made her ears twitch as if she had been electrocuted. But my hamster was not one for giving up. Her little legs ran on that bloody treadmill until it broke. She dragged her flabby body into a corner, crouched and folded in on herself, a blackish, grey mound of fluff. When my husband stuck his fingers through the wiry bars and poked her to perform, she didn't know how to tell him she was broken. So the next poem I'm going to read is a celebration of the ageing body. And I actually want to dedicate this specially to a dear friend of mine, Pamela Bogue, who's watching all the way from Sydney. And it's not that you have an ageing body, Pam, it's just I wanted to dedicate to you because I'm just thrilled that you're here. So basically this poem, I stood in the mirror one day and I looked at myself and I wrote this poem. To my 50-year-old self. Unclasp your bra. Let it fall. Ease your comfy cotton knickers down your legs. Look at yourself, untouched for 7 years. Hold your breasts. Watch them spill out of your hands. Run your thumbs along the curved waterslide of your spine. Massage the hollow between your hips, smooth as a leaf in late summer. Cradle your belly. Admire the way it protrudes over greying pear, framed by the Y of your thighs. Play a sonata on your skin. Stiffen your nipples. Close your eyes. Dive into the dream of the fisherman's wife. Okay. Love that poem. So I have found in my writing that sometimes things come up in my writing before I'm actually ready to confront them consciously. And this was the case with my sexuality. It was coming up in my writing before I could face it and come to grips with it and come to terms with it. And this poem I actually wrote before I came out to myself. So I think I was imagining what would it be like to have sex with a woman, not having it. So I actually think that I kind of pretty much kind of figured what I was going to be like. Okay, so this is called Lesbia. Our love will vaccinate against the germs others will vomit from their mouldy mouths. They will not stop me gazing at your body in the bedside lamp's low light. My fingers will rest in the hollow of your lower back. My tongue tip yours. Taste Cabernet. Your hands will roam and find home. Our coupling will gather momentum on satin sheets, until the bulb blows. Tears will trail down my cheeks. We'll spoon each other to sleep. Wake in an hour for more. And the next one I'm going to read, I wrote a couple of months after my first time making love with a woman. And it's my favourite poem in the collection, and I'm always reading it. So if you've heard me before, please bear with me. The title of the poem is called Minar and Heron. And that actually is the Irish word for women of Ireland, for those of you who don't know any Irish. So, and it's really exhorting or trying to encourage other people to have sex with a woman. Not that you need much encouragement. So here it is, Minar and Heron. To die not having known the frenzy of making love with a woman is to live without ever jumping over the bar of your crib. How could you not want to watch a woman fling her underwear on your bedroom floor, present you with soft skin for your nails and teeth to score like blades on dough? How could you not want to feel your edges slip into her hollows like a spoon folding flour into cake batter? How could you not want to hear her whimper crescendo to a jungle roar while your fingers move inside her? How could you not want a denouement to your play, when secret stories leak onto ivory sheets, then tease tongues and start the sequel? How could you not want to drag a woman to bed at 7 on a Saturday evening, rise at 2 on Sunday afternoon, sleep deprived and smelling like a marathon runner, race outside to tackle weedy flower beds, gleeful that soil will not rest in your clipped fingernails? So I hope you enjoyed that. I read that at an event in Dublin before Christmas, and a woman in the audience came up to me afterwards and she said, "Oh, that poem makes me want to leave my husband and have sex with a woman." And I thought, oh yes, mission accomplished. So the next one I'm going to read is called Someone to Watch Over Me. And it's quite an intimate poem, and it captures a moment in my life. Someone to watch over me. In the midst of our kissing, my eyelids closed. She lay awake, tracking my sleeping breath. Her hands walked the weedy path around the girt of my body. She stroked my mottled skin as if it were cat fur. An hour later, I woke, underside of my damp thigh, resting on hers. My face nestled in the valley between her jaw and collarbone. Before I could say sorry, she whispered, "I love watching you sleep." I moved my head so my cheek rested on hers, sleek as a laurel leaf, remnants of her moisturiser as potent as a newly flowered phony. And I couldn't remember the last time someone watched over me. Thank you. And the next poem I'm going to read, I have in the chapbook, having a cup of tea, I have in the chapbook a series of poems. I call them my coming out poems. So essentially what they are is they capture the essence of my conversations with those nearest and dearest to me. And this one, if I can find it now, I'm just going to read one of them. I'm going to read the one about coming out to my father. Here it is. Did Mam tell you my news? He adjusts his hearing aid. What? Did Mam tell you my news? No. I'm seeing someone. Oh, is it a man? No, a woman. He opens his newspaper, flicks through the pages, and says, England are doing well in the World Cup. Later, cryptic crossword completed. He puts his pen on the table, turns to me, and says, You were my daughter the day you were born, and you're still my daughter. That's from my dad. You couldn't wish for a better response to that. So that's especially for him. And the next poem I'm going to read is one that's not in the chapbook, but I want to read it because I did a reading on Thursday night, and the first poem I read was from my son, and of course my daughter was like, oh, so he's the favourite child now. There is no favourite child, so I thought, well, I better read something from my daughter. She's 15, teenager, finding this lockdown quite difficult because she's a real social butterfly. And she's very wise. She's a wise woman. She's only 15, but I really think she was here on this earth before. And this poem came out of something she said to me. And it captures a moment in my life where basically I had a decision to make, and that decision was to either live or die. And I chose to live because of the love I had for my children, and I didn't want them to lose me through suicide. So this is for Hannah. How did she know? Ma'am, don't die on me while I'm gone. Her words a hook in octopus tentacles that twist around my neural pathways. Her father revs his van in the driveway. I wave goodbye, shut the hall door, slump to the floor. Octopus released its ink black cloud, blinds and chokes. Dark waters beckon. I finger the note in my pocket, dream of days I could swim with eels, lounge on the lake's bed, gaze up at the earth's ever-changing sky. More words surface. Ma'am, my life would be screwed if you died. I haul myself to the bathroom, shower my body, cry myself dry, watch fire flames curl my note. How did she know I loved her too much to screw up her life again? That's for Hannah. And the reason why I say at the end, screw up her life again, was because I left my marriage and, you know, I carried that guilt a lot of times and felt I had screwed up my kid's life. In reality, looking back, I hadn't, but so that's why that's that last line. And now I'm going to read a poem. I'm going to read a poem especially for Attractify, because she asked me to read this tonight, and Attractive's had a few tough days. So I'm going to read this for her. And this poem is a poem I wrote for my mother. Mother's Day here in Ireland was the 23rd of March, I think it was. So it was just at the beginning of the lockdown here. And I live in the west of Ireland, and my parents live in the southeast of Ireland. So I haven't seen them since Christmas. I don't know when I'm going to see them again. They're both cocooning because they're over 75. And so I wrote this for Mam, and it was really, you know, all that I was feeling that week before Mother's Day, and the fact that, you know, I wouldn't be able to see her. Mother's Day 2020. I won't walk in your front door, say hello, sit by the stove, listen to timber crackle, and simply be with you. I remember the last cup of tea and dinner you prepared for me. I remember the last time I hugged the bones of you, felt your warmth, saw the look of love in your eyes. I don't know when I can be with you again, weeks, months. Our phone calls have become even more precious. All I want to do is drive home, stand on the front lawn, look through the kitchen window and watch you smile and wave. All I can do is go into my own garden, release the love in my heart, watch it float towards the sky, and hope some divine creature will bring it home to you. Today is a Mother's Day like no other. And I want to dedicate that to all parents and all grandparents who are separated from their children and loved ones at this time. And that's for you, Attractive. Okay, two more. I hope I have time still. Jesus, two more. Okay, so this one is it's a really fun one, and I wrote it reflecting on aging. And as you get older, I find anyways, I'm getting older, I have these moments of like loads of energy, and then I have these moments of like, just want to stay in bed all day. I think most of us are probably at the want to stay in bed all day moment as it is. But anyway, a bit of fun. This is just purely a bit of fun, and it's called Lioness or Labrador. Sometimes all I want to be is a lioness, pounce on my lover, tear at her clothes as if pulling flesh from the carcass of a fawn, roar myself hoarse while we wrestle to be on top, and after, coated in jungle sweat, lick my lips. Sometimes all I want to be is a Labrador, lie beside the stove, feel hands stroke my fur, watch lazily when Mouse sneaks into the kitchen, stops in the middle of the room, looks at me watching him, nipples at a crumb under the table, and waltzes out the patio door. So, so one more. This poem is the second last poem in my chapbook, and it's all about self-love. And I think it's probably, you know, where we are now at the moment, the most important thing is that we do look after ourselves and our loved ones. And my daughter said to me the other day, she says, Mama, you've been very productive during this time, the downtime. I said, no, I'm not writing much, and that's not really what this time is all about. This time is all about looking after ourselves, keeping ourselves safe, physically and mentally well. So I think this is a good one to finish on. Self-love. If you feel your heart leap when you glimpse your face in the kitchen window, admire the faint image that is you. Feast on your beauty. Don't think of self-love as a crumb you must blow from your table. Think of it as the yeast that will develop your dough. Think of how it will nourish you to rise again, again, and again. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to Sandy and Elizabeth Ann.